Good day, everyone. This visual focuses on evaluating the value of environment, which means looking again at how we see, use, and treat the environment. It reminds us that the environment is not just a source of resources like food, water, and materials, but something that is essential for life, health, and the future of the next generations. If we misuse or abuse nature today, it will affect not only on us but also to those who come after us. The second part of the visual explains that overlapping spheres of sustainability, which shows that sustainability is made up of three connected aspects: the social, economic, and environmental. These three areas work together and cannot be separated. The social aspect focuses on people. It includes education, community, building, and giving everyone equal opportunities to live in a clean and healthy environment. This means that sustainability is also about fairness, well-being, and a quality of life for all members of the society. The economic aspect refers to the sustainable growth, production, and consumption of goods and services. Activities can continue without causing harm to people or the environment. Last, the environmental aspect that highlights the importance of managing natural resources properly. It includes protection and conservation of nature to ensure that ecosystems remain healthy and balanced. This lesson explains that human can learn sustainability by observing natural ecosystems. First, in nature, waste is reused since one organism's waste becomes another's food. This teaches humans to recycle and reuse waste instead of treating it as useless trash. Second, ecosystems rely on the sun as a main source of energy, showing the importance of using renewable energy like solar, wind, and water power. Last, diversity creates stability in ecosystems, meaning that having many different species makes nature more resilient to change. Protecting diversity helps ensure a stable and sustainable future for humans. This section explains that economics studies how goods and services are produced, distributed, and consumed. Although the focus is not purely on economics, understanding it is important because environmental problems often result from how humans use natural resources to meet their needs and wants. It also discusses capital, which is anything that helps create wealth. There are three main types: the built capital, such as roads and machines; human capital, like knowledge and skills; and natural capital, which include resources and services. So next, we have the concept of going to the market. Before we dive into environmental economics, let's start with the concept of a market. A market is simply where buying and selling happen. It can be a physical place like a store or an online shop. Supply refers to what sellers offer, while demand is what buyers want. When these two meet at the right level, the market price is decided. It's the price most people are willing to pay and the price sellers find reasonable enough to sell their goods. Next is, what is a market price? When we buy something like a notebook or a bottle of water, the price we pay is called the market price. But here's something important: that price only includes the cost of production, like materials and labor. It does not include environmental damages such as pollution, deforestation, soil erosion, or chemical waste caused during the production. These costs are invisible to us as buyers, but they still harm the planet. This gap between what we pay and the environmental impact is a major flaw in our economic system. Next, we have the external costs or the externalities. These hidden environmental damages are called external costs or externalities. They are external because companies don't pay for them, even though nature and people suffer. For example, when a Factory makes paper, trees are cut down, rivers may get polluted, and air quality can worsen. Yet the price of the paper doesn't include these impacts. This means that environment is paying the price instead of the companies or the consumers. Understanding external cost helps us to see why products seem cheap but are actually expensive for the earth. Next is how we calculate the nation's wealth. Now let's talk about how we measure a nation's wealth. The most common way is through GDP or gross domestic product. GDP counts everything a country produces in a year. However, GDP has a big problem. It ignores environmental cost. So a country may seem rich because of it produces a lot, but if it only destroying its forest, polluting its air, and harming people rather. Next is how can we generally measure the nation's wealth. So we have the concept of GPI, a better measure of wealth. To get a clearer picture of real wealth, scientists introduced the genuine progress indicator or GPI. Unlike GDP, GPI includes important factors like education, health, pollution levels, and the quality of life. This means a country with clean air, healthy citizens, and a protected environment may score higher in GPI even if its GPD is lower. GPI reminds us that being wealthy doesn't just mean producing more. It means living well and sustainable. Next is tripling the bottom line. Tripling the bottom line is a concept that asks companies to consider three things, not just the profit. First is the economic cost, social cost, and the environmental cost. This means that companies should include the real impact of their products on people and the nature. For example, fair trade coffee costs more because it ensures farmers are paid fairly and the environment is protected during the production. These adding costs reflect the true price of the product. Why prices need to include the environmental cost? If companies start adding the true environmental cost to their prices, we will have more honest pricing. These encourage them to avoid harmful practices and new sustainable methods. When the real cost of pollution is included, companies are pushed to make cleaner and greener choices. This shift benefits not only the environment but also for the future generations. Next is the concept of taxing harmful practices. One way to encourage sustainable practices is through eco-taxes, or also known as green taxes. These taxes apply to activities that harm the environment, like heavy pollution or excessive use of natural resources. When companies are taxed for harming nature, they become more careful. It becomes more expensive to pollute, so they are pushed to choose safer and cleaner options. Why eco-taxes work? Eco-taxes work because they make harmful practices more costly than environmentally friendly ones. Instead of paying for pollution, companies often find it more practical to switch to renewable energy, reduce waste, and improve their production processes. In the long run, eco-taxes help protect natural resources, reduce pollution, and of course, encourage more sustainable economic activities. It's a win for both the environment and the society. So now let's have our final takeaway. Let's end this with an important message. Environmental economics teaches us that the prices of goods don't always reflect the real impact on nature. A country's true wealth should include its people, health, happiness, and the state of its environment. not just the number of products it makes, but understanding these concepts, we can make smarter and more responsible choices as consumers and help create a more sustainable world. So that's all for my report about evaluating the value of environment. And that's all. Thank you.